Hello and welcome to my video where I'm going to show you how to make an autumnal orange burlap pumpkin. This is a quick and easy project and you will need the following items. Some scissors, some strong thread, I'm going to be using some size 8 gold crochet thread, a large blunt needle, I'm going to be using a yarn darning needle, some burlap fabric. As you can see, I'm using some bright orange burlap and it's quite loosely woven. A lint roller for clearing up your work surface. This isn't vital, but burlap does tend to give off a lot of small fibres. Some polyester stuffing, and something to weigh the pumpkin down. Again, this isn't vital, but I just used some rice in a Ziploc bag. And lastly, you're going to need some embellishments for your pumpkin. It's completely up to you how you decorate your pumpkin, but I used a short section of tree branch, some natural coloured burlap, and some spirals of yarn. Okay, so to begin with, I cut out 2 squares of burlap, and these measured around 30 centimetres by 30 centimetres. The method is exactly the same no matter how big you want to make the pumpkins, but I would suggest that you don't make them any smaller than this. So once you have the 2 squares, take one and fold it in half. Then in half again, and again. This is just a very quick way of cutting out a circle, but feel free to use a different method. For instance, you could use a compass and a pencil to cut out a paper template. Right, so once you've got this kind of triangle shape, you just need to cut across the top. You want to try and cut a smooth curve, and the aim is to try and make the 2 longer lengths of the triangle equal. And now you should have a circle shape. You might need to trim around the edges a bit to neaten it up, but it doesn't need to be exact. Then you can use this circle shape as a template to create another circle shape with the other square of burlap. The reason I'm using 2 circles is because burlap is a loose weave fabric, and this means that you can see through it if there's only one layer. And because we'll be putting white stuffing into the centre, I obviously don't want that to be seen. So I've doubled up the fabric layers. Then place one circle on top of the other. Next, you need to cut out a piece of strong thread. I cut out a length that was 2 times the circumference of the circle. Then feed this piece of thread into your needle. Then all we're going to do is do a running stitch all around the outside of this circle, making sure to go through both layers. You don't need to knot the beginning of the thread. Instead, leave a tail of thread that's at least 6 inches long. And then you just go into and out of the fabric layers all the way around the circle. Stop when you get to the point where you started stitching. Now all we're going to do is pull on the ends of the thread. So keep hold of both ends of the thread and start bunching the fabric up, like so. And then into the centre of the circle, I placed something to weigh the pumpkin down, in my case rice, and then a handful of stuffing. I then pulled on the ends of the thread again, and this time I knotted them in place. I then use my needle to start stitching with the longer tail of thread. And I keep stitching around the top of the pumpkin to secure those pleats in place. The aim is to not be able to see any stuffing from the outside, and also to secure the fabric in place. I also placed my tree branch in the centre and did some more stitching around the outside. Once I'd finished stitching and was happy that the fabric was secure, I took the ends of the threads again and did a double knot, before cutting off the loose tails of thread. And then to finish the pumpkin, all I did was cut out a shape from some natural coloured burlap, cut a hole in the centre and then thread it over the tree branch. And I also tied a spiral of yarn around the tree branch. If you'd like to know how to make these yarn spirals, then please see my previous video. And that's it, the pumpkin is finished. I really hope you enjoyed this project, and thank you very much for watching.